Hey, what's up? I want to give a shout out to Max Walker, Australian. He hit me up looking for a link to one of my videos on the backside axle stall. After 570 videos, I don't know where to find it. I'm not that savvy at this thing. So I figured it's gonna take a few minutes, throw out some new tips for Max. So here we go, Max. This is what I think first. We're not gonna work on going into the stall because I think you're only looking at the re-entry, okay? Push your wheels all the way up to the coping. Stand on your board. There's a lot of guys that teach the kick-in method where you kick your back wheel in. But backside, that's sketchy. Also, it's not necessary. It's sketchy if you're one of those guys who thinks it's sketchy. It all depends on what we focus on. If you don't focus on that, it's not a big deal. But when you do it like this, you've got to make sure you keep pressure on your toe on your back truck. You've got to keep that wheel tightly up against that coping. And then you got to bend your knees and let yourself fall in. I think that's the most vital. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get into this habit, and a lot of guys who don't know how to do front side axle grinds, stand up, they get into going to tail, right? So if you know that, it's like, boom. So when you turn, you go boom. Pretend your head's tied to a tree, right? Boom. You don't want that. You've got to lean. If you don't lean, this is dangerous. So for you guys that do front side stand up 50-50s and then go to tail, you're gonna be really sketched at the time when you finally need to commit to leaning in and turning in, because you're so used to doing this. Or in the front side case, used to doing that. So, but you gotta lean. You've gotta lean. You've gotta like fall in. So let me demonstrate. Get up on your board. What I like to do first, bend my knees and then let myself start to go in. So first thing, bend my knees, and then as I'm starting to lift up, I lift up my front end, pivot my weight to my back truck, keeping my wheel inside the bowl on the back foot. Okay, so first thing, lean as I come up. Super easy, just like that. So same thing again. Set it up there. Bend your knees down, and then start to lean. As you start to like almost fall in, like you're gonna get off balance, that's when you want to stand it up just a little bit and lift up your front. Okay, so ready? Step one, lean. Step two, fall in. Let's get a close-up of what's happening on my back wheel. Alright, so here we go again. My wheel's up against the coping. I'm going to bend down, and then I'm going to start to lean. So bend down and start to lean. Now, when you start to lean, you almost start to lift up with your front end and turn in. But it's not an upright turn. Your head must be in the bowl. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to lean. So let's say you want to learn how to do it front side. So front side is exactly the same thing. A lot of guys, they think, oh, they want to kick the wheel out here and then they get their front here. I don't know, man. To me, it's way sketchier. So front side is the same thing. It's a little harder if you're not one of those front side only guys, but it's the same deal. You got to keep weight on your heel. So I do the same thing. Bend down, lean back, and jump off. So Max Walker, that's the deal, homie. Seriously, it's super easy, but like most of these tricks, it takes commitment, you know? Just keep this in mind. Do not stand straight up. You know, you want to fall in the bowl, you know? And excuse the meaning that word implies. You're not going to fall in the bowl. But you want to lean in. You want to just let your body go. You want to keep the weight, the pressure on your back toe. If you keep that toe wheel and that toe pressure down on your back foot, it's not going to twist out of the coping if your head's down. If you try to do one of these kick turns where if you imagine your head would be like tied to a tree and you try to stay upright and do the turn, that spells disaster. Let's show one more from like this angle. Let's see. Would that be? Yeah, that'd be a good angle, I think. All right. Max Walker. Right here, dog. Bend down, fall in. As you start to fall in, keep your weight on your toe, lift up with your leg, turn in, right? Right here. Here goes the steps. Bend down, fall in. Boom. Right on, homie. Take that, study it, think about it, see yourself doing it. Go ahead, Killian, do some runs. See yourself doing it and tackle it. And report back. I'd love to hear if it helps you out, or if anybody else uses any of my like beginner for beginner tutorials, right? Sometimes learning from a pro, it's not as helpful. We need to bring it on back to somebody who's fresh about how they learned it. And that's why I attempt to do these. So anyway, oh boy, my girl over here. We're gonna get on it. We're gonna get on it. Let's get Killian here. Look at this little ripper. Yeah, do it, dog.